Hey guys, my name is Seth, and today is my first ever video of me building in public, documenting and sharing some of the key projects I've built for my clients as well as what I've learned on the way. So, today's first ever video is about how you can build automated integrations using Salesforce library in Python. So, Salesforce has actually a very simple library that you can import in Python called Simple Salesforce. And what you can do is to input your Salesforce credentials like your username, password, and token, and you're in. So once you're in, how you can actually structure your query to see your data is like how you would structure a query in SQL. So for example, here, what I'm doing is I want to see the order number and name as well as shipping date and address. And once I format this query, I call the class instance dot salesforce dot query, and I'm able to see my results. But usually what I do is I will put the results in a pandas data frame. So it's easier for me to visualize the data in a table format. And you could easily use this query for any kind of data that you want to see. Basically, any kind of data that you could usually see in your Salesforce CRM. So, for example, if you want to see the top 50 customers and accounts that you have in Salesforce, for example, you can easily do that in a query as well. So, now that we know that we can use Salesforce in Python, I want to bring you through one of the interesting projects that I've built for my client. So this project was an integration between Salesforce as well as an inventory software called Inflow. So the whole premise and context behind this project was that our inventory and ops team had no visibility on inventory movement whenever a sales order came in through Salesforce, and they had to spend several manual work hours trying to reconcile the inventory count. So in order to solve this problem, what I actually built was a kind of backend integration between Salesforce and Inflow, where there was a two-way sync. Whenever a sales order came in through Salesforce, it would log the inventory count in Inflow. And once you're done, finish packing the order in Inflow, for example, you can update the order back in Salesforce to change the order status to shipped or something like ready to be shipped. And I added another key component, which is the Slack bot, to aid for better visibility because Slack was the main channel of communication that we used, and it's the first thing that you check in the morning. So it really gave us better real-time alerts as well as better visibility. So this was kind of like the whole flow of the backend service. For example, there was a Flask server to listen for any new Salesforce orders. Where there was a new Salesforce order, it will update in Inflow, and there was a two-way sync Inflow back to Salesforce, and finally we log any movement via Slack. So there's just a very simple setup that you can easily build as well. All you need is your Salesforce credentials, your Inflow credentials, and as well as your Slack bot if you wish to add that to your project. But in this case for Inflow, they have a whole API documentation which you can read it up, and it allows you to really leverage the Inflow API that they have to facilitate any two-way communication you want to have between Salesforce and Inflow. So some key features of this project was to extract the order product in Inflow so you can update the inventory count in Inflow. And now, once you finish packing the order in Inflow, you can update the order status back in Salesforce. And any new account you create in Salesforce will sync to Inflow, or any new product inventory that you create in Inflow, for example, it syncs to Salesforce. So as mentioned, the two-way sync. And lastly, as mentioned, what I actually did was to add a Slack bot. So this really helped to log any alerts in real time on Slack for better visibility. So this whole project is on my GitHub. And if this is something that sounds interesting or appealing to you and your team, yeah, do drop a comment, and I'll see you in the next video.